Hello fellow sim racers, and welcome to a video where I try to say positive things about Project Cars 2, and in particular the exceedingly entertaining Renault Clio Cup car. So first of all guys, this isn't so much a race video as it is a chance for me to talk about Project Cars 2, and in particular my experience now that the 1.4 patch has been released. Essentially, to catch you up, Project Cars 2 has been completely unplayable for me for much of the last few months. In fact, I can't remember which patch broke it, but I've had issues with crashing, VR, not being able to navigate menus. It's just been awful, really. And when I have been able to get the game working, the racing hasn't been that great. So when the 1.4 patch hit last week, I heard there were a bunch of VR mods, so VR tweaks, sorry I should say, and that got me thinking, it got me excited again, and if everything was going to work, let's actually give Project Cars 2 a proper try. And as well, as you can see from the video, Project Cars 2 is now finally working for me in VR. Great! So, which sort of led me to a problem that I'd found through Project Cars 1, and then for the brief amount of time I was able to get Project Cars 2 working, which is the sort of cars I would normally drive, I tend to find a bit dull in Project Cars games. So I'm a big fan of cars that are well, a bit scary really, so things like the Group C cars and the like, or 1970s sports cars, this sort of thing, you know, lots of power, not a lot in the way of brakes sometimes, age pattern, that sort of thing, you know, cars that make you work for it and really give you a rewarding experience when you get it right. However, those types of cars in Project Cars 2 are found are a bit easy to drive, and that's well, that's disappointing. You know, I spent a lot of time in iRacing or Assetto Corsa where you take a Group C or a prototype car from the 80s and, you know, you've got to work them, and when you finally get it right and get everything together, it's a hugely rewarding experience, and that's just been lacking for me. So, you know, I've put in a few hours since the patch and decided, well, stop trying to drive bloody prototype cars, it's not going to work. Let's see what else is there, and I stumbled across the Renault Clio Cup car, which has all of the characteristics of everything I hate. I don't like understeer particularly. I don't like front-wheel drive cars, which obviously come preloaded with buckets of understeer. So, by all reason, I should hate this car. And, you know, I did a couple of laps around Donington, and you know what? I really like this. Not only do I really like it, it feels great. I mean, you know, you watch the video at the moment, I've probably only put in 10 laps in this car prior to recording the video because I got a bit excited. I clearly don't know how to drive it very well, but it's kicking my ass a bit, and that's really good fun. I've only got the AI on, I can't remember if it was 98 or 100 I settled on, you know, so it's not turned up too far, but I'm getting great racing out of it. You'll see as I take this car through the final corner on the Snetterton short circuit that we're racing today, every time the AI is just quicker than me. I understeer. I haven't had any chance to do any setup work. There are parts of the track where I'm quicker, but that last corner's kicking my ass, and I'm really looking forward to spending some time learning this car, learning the ins and outs, and getting some great racing out of it. Straight after recording the video, I tried to jump online and find some online lobbies to join, and of course everyone was just racing GT3 cars. Welcome to racing on the internet, but I can't speak highly enough about how positive this experience has been, as we get a horrible glitch in the VR there. Probably explains why I ended up off the track. So I suppose I've now got the rather unenviable job of learning Project Cars 2 when everyone else has had 5 or 6 months with it, but I'm looking forward to it personally. Even if I just stick with the Clio Cup car for now. In fact, with that in mind, if we've got any Project Cars 2 players watching the video today, it'd be great if you could drop me some car recommendations. You know, as I said, I find some of the quick sort of prototype and single-seater cars a bit easy to drive isn't the right word, but I don't think there's I don't feel a huge amount of depth in the physics as I just punt that guy up the inside on the hairpin there. Treating the AI a little bit unfairly, I think. No, if you could make some recommendations about the sorts of cars you find rewarding to drive in the comments, that'd be really great. In fact, as I said, I keep going back to my sort of favourite types of cars, and I'm guessing Project Cars 2 isn't great for that. Something I really do want to try is the rallycross content. I know you had the Fun Pack DLC that came out at the beginning of the year. Haven't tried any of that yet. That's actually really appealing right now because it's not the sort of cars I normally drive. I mean, I feel between sort of Assetto Corsa, Race Room and iRacing, I've sort of got the GT and prototype stuff really thoroughly covered. So maybe some more fun stuff. It's got I think Project Cars 2's got the World Touring Car stuff. That'd be really interesting. Must give that a try. But yeah, suggestions in the comments would be much appreciated. So to talk about what I think about Project Cars 2 now the 1.4 patch is out. First of all, I'm just really glad it works now. I mean, arguably this is the game that should have been delivered on release date. I know that sounds a bit cutthroat, but it is what it is. I know it's a bit popular to rag on game developers these days for releasing unfinished software, but in the case of Project Cars games, I think that's very much what it feels like to me. And I feel like I finally now got the game I paid for. But now it's working, the experience is pretty damn good. I think the physics is still a little bit lacking in a number of areas and for a number of cars. I think, that's the thing that's driving me a little bit nuts about it at the moment is some cars, like the one I'm driving today, feel great. And other cars just, and other cars are just rubbish. And it's a case of sifting through and finding what works really well. I mean, obviously it looks beautiful. I'm driving this race in winter time with the sun low on the horizon, and by this point I'd probably done half a dozen laps at Donington, and I'd done a sort of 10 or so laps here, and the brightness is starting to hurt your eyes a little bit, with the sun down at that level, as it does when you drive. I feel like you're squinting in the headset, and that's absolutely great as I try and barge a AI car off at the final corner there. Yeah, I'm not sure I should be congratulated for that sort of thing, Mr. Race Engineer, but that's cool. Apologies if my voice is a bit hoarse. I was out at a gig last night singing along like an idiot. Probably was closer to screaming. I do love how Project Cars 2 looks, and this makes me so excited for Assetto Corsa Competizione. If the game looks as good as this but has Assetto Corsa's physics, I'm going to be in for a real treat. Not going to be able to drive a Clio Cup car there though, which is probably good because, as you'll have seen from the video, I'm not that great at it. Oh well, bit of time for practice. If anyone can tell me how to set the car up so that it doesn't understeer through that fast final corner, that'll be great. Anyway, that brings us to the end of our race, and I've run out of positive things to say about Project Cars 2 anyhow. Oh look, we finished 7th. Highly exciting. Anyway, if you have any suggestions for great cars I should go and try out in Project Cars 2, or in particular great car and track combinations, because pairing those up is really important for me, then I would love to hear that in the comments. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed the video, please consider hitting subscribe and maybe giving us a like. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.